What is going on, my people? It is your boy, Big Poppy, back again. A little earlier than normal, but never, never too late. Can that be true? Can two things be true? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But hey, check it out. I was going to hit you guys up on Tuesday. I was watching a show Friday afternoon. Got a little upset at some things I heard. Um, kind of left it alone a little bit. Went home, simmered. Was going to wait till Friday, but things were on my mind. And people that know me well know that when my mind starts spinning, it just spins out of control. But I'm proud and I'm happy that I'm a little wiser. That I actually didn't respond. That I had a chance to look at some things, and then to come back, sit down, and try to do the right thing. And so this is a responsive video, and it's in response to one of my favorite guys I see on TV all day, every day, or at least 5 days a week. My man Stephen A. Smith does an incredible job. Has a memoir coming out. I was hoping I can get maybe like a signed copy from you. I think you've changed the way sports is reported on, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. You're a trailblazer, and I certainly appreciate what you do. And I know how difficult it is, and I know the schedule that you work a little bit, going whether it's LA, South Beach, back up to Bristol, back up to New York, wherever it is, you're all over the place. So I'm happy you're successful. But you guys did a segment on Monday, and it had to do with golfers as independent contractors. And one of the things that you talked about during that segment was the fact that you believed there should be nothing wrong with golfers jumping to live. And you talked about capitalism. You talked about Saudi and where it stood as a foreign trade partner with the United States, and on and on and on. And while the world is a capitalistic society, America especially, all money's not good money, but some money's good to have. And while I could not, nor will I try to argue how somebody sees their worth versus how somebody else sees their worth, I will say this. I was a little disturbed that that alone becomes the genesis of the conversation when we talk about the PGA Tour and Live Golf Tour. A Saudi-backed investment fund event, 8 events a year, all over the world. They'll do 8 events. And the first thing I'll say is, number one, you stated that Saudi was probably like the number 2 country when it comes to imports and exports. None of that of what you said is even remotely true. Okay, Saudi does about 14 billion in imports, and they do about 11 billion in exports. They're not number 2, and they're surely not in the top 10. Matter of fact, they're not in the top 20. Okay, now you bring up these parallel points. If we can do business with China or whoever, well, there's a lot that goes on in business. And business sometimes is beyond just the exchange of money and goods. And the reason behind having a business with the U.S. government is more than just money and goods. There's other things that come from that our government and their governments need, especially when you're talking about places like China or Venezuela or whoever it may be. All right, so when having this conversation, you just can't put it into this box and say, because they do this, then this should be okay too. Or because they do this, this should be equally as rewarding and refreshing as this is. It's such a broad conversation. And I think you missed the bucket when you first put Saudi as number 2 in the top 10 of import-export business with the United States. So that was number 1. Number two, we're talking about MBS. His father will die soon. I think his dad is 86, 87, something like that. And he'll take over as a crown prince of Saudi Arabia, the king, whatever they want to call him. But this guy had a Washington Post reporter killed in a Saudi embassy in Israel, if I remember correctly. In Israel. We have video of him, Mr. Khashoggi, worked for the Washington Post, who spent a great bit of his career writing about the Crown Prince, and walks in and is never seen again. Intel tells us, obviously, that he was murdered. He was cut up into parts. He was placed into black trash bags or duffel bags and removed from the embassy, and that's the end of it. Now, that's what intelligence is saying. True, false? I don't work in the intel community. I couldn't tell you that. Okay? But that's where these golfers are taking money from. Okay? Add to that the execution they did an execution, a mass execution of people. One day it was private. 81 people were killed. Some of them were killed for attending peaceful demonstrations, right? Their bodies were not returned to the families. 81 people, one day, private murders by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. I mean, there were 37 people killed in 2019. There were 47 people killed in 2016. This guy has a track record. And soon, when his father dies, he'll have all the control. He's killed people within the political parties there. He's removed any and everybody that could challenge his next position leading Saudi Arabia. So the money that these players took is not just $200 million. It's not just $125 million guaranteed. This, that, or the other. This is blood money. It's blood money. And now, because of your comments about it being okay for them to get paid, whatever it is that somebody will pay them, we've totally absolved ourselves, or at least, in my opinion, you've absolved yourself of the families who are still seeking accountability for 9/11. And let me give a big shout out while I can to the 9/11 Justice Platform. Up on the East Coast, it's comprised of families who lost loved ones during the World Trade Center attack. An attack on our country, an attack on our way of life, an attack on our democracy, and one that'll never, ever, it'll be in books for the rest of our lives. And as a military veteran, to hear somebody even remotely assert that it is okay to take blood money, it is okay for you to be paid what somebody else thinks you're worth. It is okay for you to not have to work hard to get the money. It is okay to have no values and character and integrity and all the things that make us who we are. And to me, that is what you endorsed. And again, I love Stephen A. Smith. He hates the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. But I love his energy. I love his drive. I love his commitment. But this is one I think you got horrendously wrong. And this is one I hope you will take a step back and do a little bit more research. And if you come to the conclusion that this is still okay, that makes me question a lot about what I believe about you as a man. Because I think you're a good man. I think you're very honest. I think you're very forthright. Sometimes people don't like it. Sometimes I'm amazed by it. Sometimes I think it's blasphemy. But at the end of the day, we cannot endorse MBS who is a guy who's trying to consolidate power by attacking any resource, influence, or anything or anybody that could check his authority. That's what MSB is, or MBS. That's who he is to his core. And whether the U.S. does business with Saudi or not, irrelevant to where Saudi ranks in that business, we do business with a lot of countries for a lot more reasons than just what we receive and or what we sell. And that's a whole like seminar to be able to sit and talk about. So I wanted to put that out there. I'll continue to watch First Take. But if you're building segments, what I would ask is that you have all the references for the segments, because this one really affected people's lives. Who this country is and how they behave and what they did and what they endorsed and what they sponsored and what they helped pay for was a destructive day. World Trade Center, Pentagon, and a plane down in Pennsylvania. And lives lost, and people still dealing with that loss. And I think you are better than that. And I think you would have not taken blood money to line your pockets because it was the lesser of two evils or the easier way out. So you can catch me here whenever you want. Unsecured from the skiff, Big Poppy. Give me a holler, talk to me, comment. But as a former military dude, as one who is willing to write the greatest check of all up to my life, there's certain things you can't let slide. And this one was one of them. All money's not good money, but some money's good to have. So, unsecured from the skiff, your boy Big Poppy. Something else pops off, maybe I'll throw another one up this weekend. All right? Enjoy the week. Be blessed. And I can't wait to hear back from you. And push the views. Push the views. We're trying to grow something together. Grassroots, baby. All right? I'm out of here. Be good. Peace.